Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to another God's Card Break. I am happy to be back here to do a Yahoo Fantasy Basketball draft. This one's going to be head-to-head snake draft category league. So we'll go over a couple of details and stuff here before we get into the draft. Back on. So to start us off, talk a little strategy. In head-to-head category leagues, the idea for me, at least what I try to do, is go for an all-around team approach while punting turnovers. Now, with an all-around team approach, my goal is to be in my weekly matchup. Now, there's 9 categories. All I need to do to win is 5 of them. So if I can build an all-around team, then it stands that I'll do well in it 5 categories. That's kind of why I'm approach. Punching turnover is important. Pretty much any format here for fantasy basketball because players that up have high use, high turnover. But because they have high usage, they're going to be involved in that. So you definitely want to punt turnover draft. This one's different. I target players who have got expanded roles on their. But what I mean by that is I'm going to look at certain players. Let's take a Paolo Banchero, for example, who is a power forward, of course, for the Magic. To take a look at a player like that, and I like him type of formats production assists in a position that doesn't do that well for that. So it gives me category during the week. Injured players are okay to draft provided they're expected to play before the playoffs begin. Now this is kind of key. Um, there are of course certain risks to be had when you draft a player like Joel Embiid because you don't really know how his health is going to be, and if something happens to what happened last year, chunk of the time when you most, which is fantasy playoffs. And it's also good to look for players who play positions. This just helps with the flexibility of the lineup. That way, it's easier for you to play. All right, when we're talking snake drafts, there's a few things over here as well. My strategy for snake drafts in early rounds, so the first 5 rounds, I'm going to be picking the best player available without really busting my strategy. So, for example, if I was picking 7th or 8th, still available, I may not pick him, even though he might be the best player available. Because I'm weary about um, his health and stuff. Going into the middle rounds, round 6 to 9, you want to fill positional gaps. So if I ended up drafting 2 point guards and centers first 5 picks, then it's going to leave me with a holes in wings. So I want to be looking at getting those. And then late rounds, I try to draft some sleepers. So it's usually a good idea to jump in the draft before it actually starts. Usually a half an hour window, custom stuff there. It's a good idea to do that so that way, go ahead and pick up or put players that you think as sleepers and put them on later in the draft. Now, in snake drafts, don't be scared to start a positional run. So if you have a need for a center and there are 6 or 7 centers on the board, it's good to start that run. It's a lot better to start the run, finish the run. There could be a big gap in quality of center that you pick up if you wait. So that's really the majority of the strategy that I have for going into drafts. I want to talk a little bit about a new platform as well that we are launching here for fantasy basketball. We did this for fantasy baseball and it was a hit. Going back for fantasy basketball, we I am a fantasy basketball advisor on platforms, and basically what that is it allows you to a question, and I will respond to audio reply. I can also get like if you send me screenshots, I can look at your team directly, and I can kind of give you a little more to the point details in response. But it's a really good way to be able to get some fantasy advice if you're kind of stuck on, say, if you aren't too sure if you want to trade or if you add a player who you should be dropping, all that kind of stuff. Those are great questions to ask. So I encourage you to go to askmeonq.com/beat odds, all one word, dash NBA, and you'll be able to ask me. All right, jump in draft here a little early. We got 4 minutes left, but I actually did realize that I'm not in position. Go ahead. That before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and hopes that I drafts. One, of course, they have um, John Morant ranked pretty low in this game. Didn't really play a whole lot. Don't really know who did that. But he absolute steal of the draft. I've seen him going 6, seen him going 7, 8 drafts already today. That's going to be kind of the ring. Shoot guards at 3. I typically will choose the players that are ranked 50 on my queue. I figure the first 50 are pretty straightforward. But after that, you can kind of play around your gut feelings, valued, and that kind of stuff. That's when you want. All right. Okay. So I've got fourth pick this draft. That's what I. And with the fourth pick, I should be able to get the players. I always like to kind of place top 5 pick. It will basically get shot at getting major players. So usually, I've seen in the 2 drafts that I've been in far today. Victor went first. I expect no less out of Eric out of sight, especially because auto picking. But if I were to be completely honest with you, not be my first pick. I would uh, venture on picking Jokic set up like this because he's got much more dominance per category. But I can't fault you if you want. All right, here we go. Pick number one likely. Sure it is. I just realized that. All right, so I can Luca and Giannis. I go Luca in because I don't want to have to hunting throws as much or to choose Giannis. I mean that right. So basically, those top five: Victor, Shea, Nikola Jokic, Giannis, and those are the happen to get one of the 5 spots. Rest this feel pretty good about yourself. You're catch team around. So with Luca, my goal here try and get some of the stats that he's not good in. So I need definitely need those are going to be kind of something that I'm going to eye on as we're in this. Now, of course, there are a couple of changes. Um, Yahoo Fantasy Basketball this one is you may notice they're not doing 12 team standard is so that's going to that these drafts are going to go faster and they've been taking on average about half an hour, which is crazy. So they take about a half an hour to complete, and you're only drafting 130 players. More talent that left waiver wire in does give you a little bit of cushion if you're riskier, um, because you should be able to find more players off waiver wire. Okay, so coming back to my here really quickly. And Brunson. All right, let's see. How do we want Kevin Durant? I think I want to secure another card. Let's go, Kevin Durant. Scotty Barnes is picked up. That was the next. That was next on my grab draft. All right. So I'm really tempted. Actually, not quite sure what I want to do. Really, really tempted to pick on James here. I know the man's 40, but goodness gracious, he can still ball. Uh, although we're talking whether or not he's going to be available on playoff time. Definitely risky, but I think I'm going to do it. I've got the two ageless wonders on the squad, Kevin Durant. I most definitely need to start securing blocks now. So I want to thank you, of course, for joining us here on the live stream. I hope this is something that you appreciate and enjoy. If you do like on stream, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on play, every little bit of love definitely helps. Cardo's remarkable team building a team water risk, picking up Joel Embiid and Kawhi Leonard picks. There goes John Morant in round four. That's the earliest that I've seen. Seven? Might have been seven last go around. And Goon just left. That was somebody I had my eye on here as well. I think now I'm going to go ahead. Go ahead and pick up Jalen Johnson. Good with small words now. Jalen Johnson's going to help with some blocks. He's actually a really good defense scoring jump this on team down and option. That's going to belong to. What are your thoughts? Is John Morant in the fourth round? Is that kind of where drafted? He definitely has good. There's a good argument for that for sure, especially ways, which we all right, so it's my go here. Carl Anthony Towns is available, but he's not quite the player that I want to draft. I need blocks. So Evan Mobley, center, or power forward, but 5 spot. So far, the team's looking pretty solid. Got a lot of risk at the top with Kevin Durant and LeBron, but if get them help counts, certainly fantasy. In fantasy, anything, never really know how well your team go because everybody's doing. I think the biggest thing that I'm worried about with games, though, aggression. It'll be harder to beat last year, but even where I got them drafted, I pretty good. Got a couple for my selection. Go ahead and pick up one of my favorite players to pick up in fantasy drafts. That being Derek White. Not really a true guard, definitely more a shooting guard. But he carries stats like power forward, especially when you defense. Like he basically is Johnson docks this from a player that can nice little asset. All right. So the next player I'm going to pick up here, still pretty good as well. It's going to be Claxton. Um, you already know what he can do on defense, and of course, with the lack of scoring in Brooklyn, they would imagine he's well finishing off plays. I would look as being now. Of course, the first 5 rounds have already gone. We're now into trying to fill spots that lacking here. Up shooting guard and Derek White. I'm looking and see that it's probably a good idea to actually get a true point guard. There's not going to be many left in the draft to this point, so we may have to dig a little bit to try and find one. That's going to be for the next talk here. The other player that, of course, I was looking at draft, not surprised that my draft him in Jalen Green, um, going in the 10th round, go in the 7th round, or 19th this draft. All right, back over to look down the list of the I can pick. Exactly sure where I want to get and pick Austin slash. That's also a little insurance there for if LeBron needs time. Austin, I actually don't. Walker Kessler is another pick. 8th round, reaching a little bit for him, but that might be off here. Zach Edey, well, that's another gone start of this. Now, this next pick is really just heartwarming. I have his Toronto Raptors jersey. Of course, has switched times. Go ahead and shoot. Bonus of Alan shoot. had to have one team. Right, we're getting close to again. There's an interesting player that's out there that I'm tempting. I don't know. And you know what? I'm going to. I don't typically pick up players like Jordan Poole, but we're in the 10th round. Would Washington scoring this for scoring is counted now? He's not going to do it on a very percentage. He's likely going to have some high turnover as well. But based on what I have here, the turnovers I don't really the other 8 categories. As long as he's putting points forward, might be value out of him. Waiting to see if Tyler Hero was going to come around. Unfortunately, just got picked up by Jason's swell team. We're going to go ahead and we're going to go up. That should do it for guards. I've got 5 players. Arguably, two of the other 3 are shooting guards, but that's going to take care of basically both positions. I've got well, like probably center. This draft has gone nice and quick. Again, we're gonna likely end up under the 30-minute mark for this one. Denny Avdia, somebody I was targeting my team again, is maybe he's seen a couple of my drafts today. That's all right. That's all right. Okay. Cam Johnson on the team, of course, right after that, the center that I was looking up. So really scratch and claw for that last pick here. All right, so time for my last pick. I'm not entirely sure where I want to go with this, but I figure I'm gonna go with somebody who kind of fits the mold what I was trying to do early on in the draft to pick stats. We're gonna go ahead and pick up Alex. So then doesn't really pan out on OKC. That's fine. He's my last choice. I try in either way or probably another center. That's gonna do it here for my draft. We're draft actually including. Um, yeah, that's our first look at Yahoo Fantasy Basketball head-to-head category league. I appreciate your thoughts on how well I did. If there were players that I should have targeted earlier, would have made some picks or not have made some. I'm encouraged to hear your feedback on this. Yep, that's going to do it here for that. We got another draft should be lined up here, so I am going quickly and just take a look at the draft results. I always like to just where this not too bad. Um, looks like I might have one of the best field goal percent. Uh, my free throw percentage is worse, so we're gonna add some. Um, solid in point. Actually, Yeah, pretty middle of the road, but that's all right. What I'm looking for around build outside of maybe free throw percent, I'm okay with that. So yeah, that's gonna do it here for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more. I'm gonna sign off for now, but I got another draft lined up here. Make sure you that that's gonna be coming up shortly. Again, guys.